like salad. Do you like salad?
Welcome to Canadian Salad,
a fun, factual, and friendly podcast about culture and integration in Canada.
I'm one of your hosts. I'm Hostion Ho from China, currently living in unceded territory of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations.
And I'm Andrea Macaulay, an immigrant from the United States, broadcasting you from the unceded traditional territory of the Lekwungen people, the Songhees and Esquimalt First Nations.
And you're listening to Canadian Salad. Hi, welcome back.
Hi, welcome back. It's another Tuesday, another December Tuesday.
New Year is coming.
Yes, I'm excited for a new year. Are you?
I mean, I'm excited too, but also like, it's another year. I don't know whether
Oh no.
another year I'm gonna get older.
You're too young to dread that. Oh,
I
goodness.
am not too young. I'm 35 next year. Oh my God, I'm closer to 40 next year.
Well, welcome to it's amazing. 40s are amazing and it'll be amazing.
Only people who are already there said it's amazing.
Yes, because it is.
You have to.
Well, I don't have to. I mean, I genuinely mean it. I mean, I did 30s was great, but I feel like I'm learning a lot more in my 40s. In fact, I'm learning so much more that I decided we could do today's episode on something I learned recently.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah? What did you learn?
Colonialism is now on trial. So there was a meeting at the end of November where the African Union, which is a group of 55 African states, they met in Algiers and had a huge 2-day discussion on recognizing colonial era crimes as crimes against humanity and to pursue reparations. So basically making colonialism illegal in international law. Huge.
Finally.
Oh my gosh.
Huge.
But,
just like Trump
yeah.
said, huge.
Ooh, I don't want to bring that colonizer in this world. But yeah, it's massive. It's absolutely massive. So I wanted to talk about that and unpack that. Hoshin, what would you say, I guess in personal reflections, what would you say has been the impact of colonialism or your interactions with it as just an individual?
Well, I think colonialism, I was born in a colony in some sense.
Mm-hmm.
I was born in
A Portuguese colony, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So like our government's always, rule the white people. We have no agency to ourselves, obviously, in terms of culture, our government, our language, even our school. But I was really young, so I won't say I remember a lot of it. The things I remember is just seeing people, white people, not our own people, have all the power and we cannot take any upper position in government or in anything that matters. So I think losing the agency, feeling that you can never get there, that is one, that kind of disappointment and some sort of disappointment and anger. And then I think growing up, like moving out of China, knowing histories of like colonialism, or like even oppression towards like indigenous, or like this idea that I have to learn English is the way, or the Western ideology, philosophy is the way to think and for society to operate.
Yeah.
It's kind of like suffocating because I am from different culture, obviously. And sometimes even in relationships, I have dated one white boyfriend who told me, we're in Canada, so your way of thinking or your way of operating of relationship is not gonna work here.
Oh my gosh.
Like this is also the most colonial thing. Yeah.
Right. And that's, yeah. I'm glad he's
know.
no longer a part of your life.
No, he's no longer, obviously. But,
Girl, go away.
Yeah.
Get your
Girl,
colonial
not here.
mindset out of my life. Yeah. I ain't
Girl,
got time
here,
for that.
this is not 1600s, okay?
Yeah.
Like, go away. So yeah, that is like impact a lot of my way. Definitely impacts, very subtly impact all areas of my life. The language I speak, the way I think, movies I consume, conversations I happen, even sometimes food I eat. I ate a lot of cheese. I'm lactose intolerant.
Oh no. So your love of cheese is due to colonialism.
No, I
Man.
kind of. I mean, I don't love it, but like sometimes on a certain dish, I would eat it.
Ooh,
You know,
cheese
but
and
it's just like
yeah.
without colonialism, cheese would not be like a big thing.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
but that's my story. What about you?
Yeah.
How's your relationship with it?
So relationship has been largely ignorant of it because I've been a benefactor of it. And I think growing up with very whitewashed history, all the people that made the inventions were white. All of the leaders, of course, were white. And so it was that's just everything we have is because of the Western world. The Western world is a savior to countries in Africa and countries in Asia because they bring medicine and, they've helped other countries develop. These are the narratives that I was taught in school. And in many ways, there's still some, like with my son, he learns about Benjamin Franklin or he learns about Albert Einstein, which it's okay, cool. But there was a lot of other inventors that were people of color that don't get the same recognition. And so I see it being played out within education, health. And so in many ways, I've been ignorant and just that was kind of the narrative. And now that I know that it's front and center in my face, I am now resisting and try to unlearn a lot of these old tapes and old narratives and old stories that were just really void of the full picture. So yeah, it's kind of like I've been thinking about this. So the story of Noah and the ark, right? Where this
Noah the ark,
old guy
yes.
is told about, like, hey, save all the animals because I'm going to save only the purest and goodest of humanity because the world is corrupt, blah, blah, blah. And so I feel like I've always been told the narrative of my life and my world around me from the vantage point of being inside of the ark. As opposed to being on the
that.
outside screaming for my life while I'm drowning.
I love that.
So so it's a flip. And so that's where I'm like, I want to stop listening to the people in the ark and I want to start listening to the people outside. So that's kind of my mental structure of colonialism and engagement, but largely ignorance. So yeah.
But now we are trying to get on the other side of ignorant.
Yes. Yeah. And informed. So when this came so this story actually popped into my algorithm on Instagram and I sent it to you and you're like, episode idea. Yes, let's do this. So this is what it is. So I just want to set the stage because people may not know about it because it's not getting Western media attention.
Yes. Let me get the spotlight ready.
Yes, exactly.
Set the stage.
Set the stage, exactly. Lights, camera, action. So, yeah. So basically on Sunday, November 30th, African leaders from 55 different countries met up. If we go back just a little bit, a resolution was passed at a summit in May that pushed to define colonization as a crime against humanity. Because the reality is, in international law, colonialism is not mentioned as a general term. What is mentioned is like slavery is a crime against humanity, genocide,
equal
torture,
rights is mentioned.
Apartheid. So you have very specific things, but colonization as a whole is not mentioned. Algerian Foreign Minister Ahmed Attaf stated, quote, Africa is entitled to demand the official and explicit recognition of the crimes committed against its peoples during the colonial period, which is an indispensable first step toward addressing the consequences of that era, which for African countries and people still are paying a heavy price in terms of exclusion, marginalization, and backwardness. Like if you look at, I think I read Africa as a continent contributes to 4% of the climate crisis, 4%, where Western countries are like up there in like 60 to 70% of the global warming. But then Africa suffers most under climate change because of mineral extraction, because of the ways in which over time that land has been extracted, the methods that have been used to take away raw materials, raw minerals, that kind of a thing. So African countries have borne the brunt of extraction and of the climate change because of colonization, because of dominance from Western empires. According to The Guardian, international conventions and statutes accepted by the majority of countries have outlawed many of these like big name ticket items like slavery, torture, apartheid, but there's no explicit reference. And so this is like a big component of the AU coming together saying this needs to be recognized, because while you have specific things, you're ignoring a larger piece of colonialism, which has created inequality in the system. It has led to the discrimination and oppression of people still today, and a big, big step. French President Emmanuel Macron. So there has been like a push for some apologies, but in 2017, he did describe elements of history as a crime against humanity, but has not yet issued an official apology, and implored Algerians. So French had seized Algeria. It was a French colony forever. And the most atrocious crimes against humanity were committed in Algeria. But he's basically imploring people not to dwell on the past injustices, because this creates division. Which is the kickback.
That creates division itself. That I refuse to acknowledge atrocious past that had created inequality and so much suffering for other people. It's easy for him to say because he is a beneficiary.
Of course.
I think if he's black, he's from Nigeria, that he won't say the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. No, he wouldn't. And I love this quote. This is Ghanaian Pan-Africanist Kwesi Pratt. He said, quote, "We cannot continue to manage the consequences of a crime while ignoring its authors." End quote. So you can't I've heard this argument before. It's, well, Remembrance Day is for us to remember our fallen soldiers. Well, why aren't we just telling everyone to get over it and stop remembering the past? What's in the past, that's so divisive. Why would you want to remember? Why would you want to acknowledge? Why would you want to do anything to mark that remembrance?
Yeah.
But when it comes to actual 5 centuries of brutal enslavement and colonial tactics on the global majority, we're like, that's divisive. We shouldn't really talk about that. You just need to get over it.
Yeah.
So it's only getting over it when it pertains to anyone who is not of Western or European ethnicity. But when it comes to Western practices or Western remembrance or atrocities, this is non-negotiable. This is absolutely something we need to be doing.
I mean, it's obvious they don't want to, be reminded of the atrocious behavior in the past committed by ancestors, and I think a lot of them also have this kind of white guilt they don't want to feel.
Yes, exactly. So before we go on what actually they're asking for, because it's one thing to make colonialism a crime, but then they are asking for very specific things. Do you have any other thoughts about the AU bringing this forward, Hoshin?
I mean, I think it's absolutely important. And as I mentioned, like a lot of colonialism still very subtly happening to our lives, and in many ways creates a lot of distress that in some sense, I would say because it's so subtle. Like in China, we have this one saying, I love it. It's called 温水煮青蛙. It's like warm water cooks the frog. When you're in the warm water, when the water is slowly heating up, you don't know you eventually gonna die in that water.
As opposed to a pot of boiling water, which you know exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we know boiling water is illegal, like killing people. It's like very explicit kind of like discrimination or oppression is illegal. But somehow this kind of subtle way of discrimination and oppression still is legal. So I've loved the AU really bring it up to also try to say no, this subtle way, which is colonialism, that's still kind of oppressing us, it should also be illegal. I really love that idea.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
also about time.
It is about time. And I love that visual or that kind of that phrase that you just mentioned, because that is what, because people say, well, we're not enslaving people now, so what's your problem? And it's like, well, the problem is we're dealing with the effects of a crime. that was committed and still is
Yeah.
embedded and entrenched in our minds because we're not taught about the crimes that were committed. We aren't, we just want to forget it, wipe our hands away, and just it's uncomfortable for us, so let's not talk about it. So of
Yeah.
course, we don't see it. We don't actually recognize the impact that
mean,
it's had.
The part of the crime still happening, like white supremacy is still happening,
True.
discrimination is
Yes.
still happening. They are still oppressing people. Like
Yes.
we are, like somehow, like in international trade, like the power that the European Union have and the AU have is very different. Part of
Very
it is also
different.
this kind of the remnants of colonialism as well. Like
Right.
it's still happening.
It is. It is. And that's why what leaders are asking for is really, really important, because it demonstrates exactly what that softer, or even just that the effects of colonialism that continues to have. So the key demand is to have colonial era crimes formally, quote, recognized, criminalized, and treated as crimes against humanity under international law. So the African Union defines reparatory justice. So this is what reparatory justice in numerous ways. For the AU, it includes a range of initiatives which seek to address the injustices of colonization, slavery, and systemic discrimination, such as financial reparations, land restitution. So a lot of people think, well, reparations, that's just money. Well, it's not. It's a lot more. So there's financial reparations, yes, but then there's land restitution, international accountability, and then community empowerment. These are the four things that they're laying out. They're asking for literally just kind of like a framework that's unified, because international law does not explicitly lay this out. This is another component of what they're asking for. They want this collective reckoning, because I feel like collectively, if we continue to ignore it, like it's enough, like it's not enough for just me as an individual to say that this is wrong. It has to be a collective thing, because it was a collective thing that happened. It was a collective benefit, like a collective benefit for Western empires, and it was a collective oppression for African and many East Asian countries. So there has to be like some kind of parameter or framework internationally that collectively recognizes colonialism as a crime. So the UN so I guess they did a report back in 2023 that recognized European states to apologize and address those harms, but those states have not accounted for those past wrongs. So there's an apology and there's an address like, yeah, we're sorry. Oh yeah, we admit that was a crime against humanity. But then beyond that, nothing. And I watched this interview. It's an Al Jazeera interview, and we'll include the link in our show notes. Our website has it all, canadiansala.ca. But they invited former French ambassador to African nations to speak. And his whole thing was like, yeah, definitely, they were crimes against humanity. It was terrible. But, colonialism brought some good things too. I mean, this man he was terrible, but it's like, you can have an apology, but the fact that you're still saying, well, if we just contribute to you financially and at a slow amount of time, because this is one thing he also stated, we don't want to give you too much money because we know there's corruption within African countries. Yeah, he said that on the interview with someone who literally is from Rwanda, this woman who was like a
my
Rwanda
God.
educator, and then this other gentleman who worked in Africa he was dynamic. He was wonderful. But that's just it. It's like, but you see the holes. An apology and just addressing the harms does not actually undo or do anything to heal or to make amends.
Yeah. I mean, also just from like a PR perspective, that means they don't even know what apology means.
Correct.
Yeah. From a communication perspective,
Yeah.
that's not how apology should be phrased.
Yeah.
Like,
And if I needed to apologize to you and say, Hoshin, I'm really, really sorry, but then I continued to treat you terribly, that's not an apology. And this is what they're asking for. Channel Africa had interviewed University of Zambia lecturer Dr. Houston Chaputa, And he said that Africa's demands are long overdue. He said he referenced cases against the genocide against the Herero and Nama peoples in Namibia under German rule, the Algerian War of Independence, and the Mau Mau Rebellion in Kenya, where thousands were killed by colonial forces. He said that if similar crimes had been committed against former colonial powers, reparations would have been non-negotiable. And of course they wouldn't. We wouldn't have this conversation. We wouldn't be like, oh, it's complicated. Oh, we need to get over it. No. If I even said to any person who had lost a former family member in World War II, and I said, well, you know what? Maybe you should just get over it. Like, the past is the past. I would be hit. I'd be punched on an instant. Like, I would be shot down.
Also, this idea of like, oh, it's complicated. So somehow is enough reason to not deal with it also is crazy.
Right?
It
like
is
when
crazy.
has anything been easy?
Simple.
But if you actually were motivated, you wouldn't care about the complexity. Like,
Yeah.
we wanted to get to outer space. It's complicated. Didn't matter. We made efforts and we poured money into making space travel happen. And look
I
where we
know.
are.
Exactly. We land on the moon. What's more complicated than that?
So it's just a matter of your motive. And I think this is a matter too of the colonial mindset where, and I've had this conversation with friends who are from Haida First Nations, the idea like that land back episode, we have this colonial mindset that, oh, well, reconciliation and reparations means that everyone's just kicked off their land and you enslave us and you commit genocide unto us. That's a colonial mindset. That's not what reparations or true justice actually looks like from Indigenous or even Haida's perspectives. Like, we're not, and even Africa isn't talking about, well, we're just going to extract a bunch of stuff from Europe. Yeah. They're not saying that. They're just saying that, like, no, reparations looks like everyone flourishing. And it looks like you taking accountability and responsibility for the harm that your country has done for centuries.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't look like committing genocide into you. It doesn't look like enslaving you and putting you in camps. That's not what they're asking for. None of what they're asking for is what has been done to them.
Exactly. I think that's, at the end of the day, that's just the main issue. That they are benefiting from it. They have not any harm done to them. So of course they're not motivated. They, of course, they want to keep that kind of regime, keep that kind of system at work, and then so they can keep benefiting from it. And let's say they're not being benefited directly from it. Like, undoing it or apologizing for it or making amends for it is not going to do them any good. So why are they going to do it? So I think at the end of the day, they just don't want to. That's all that the answer is.
Because they like their power. They like the comfort of riding high on the tide and being in that boat with all the animals while everyone else drowns around them. Because it's a lot to ask people to be uncomfortable. I want to get into, because it's December, it's the holidays. I know this is not necessarily a topic that, like, colonialism, of course, is not a very cheery topic. But I think what is cheery and what is giving us hope and why this matters is because Africa is the voice that we all need to be listening to. The AU, African country leaders would need to be listening to them. And this matters not just for nations, but for us as well. Because this is about, if they were able to put this into the UN international law, I mean, I think it's going to take generations to, like, implement it. And we can look at Palestine as an example of genocide, but also colonialism and apartheid, the ways in which there are stronger states within the UN that are vetoing these ceasefire calls because of their power and influence. So I think it's going to take a lot of time. But I think if we think about how many millions of people were displaced, how many millions of people were dispossessed or traumatized. Like, reparations and recognition are about restoring humanity and not charity. And I think it's really important to distinguish the two. African leaders are not asking for charity. They're not asking for just a paycheck so that they can just, oh, yay, we have a bunch of money. This is
Yeah.
about restoring humanity. This is about returning artifacts that belong to them. This is about acknowledging the atrocities and making sure you never do this again, that you have a framework to recognize colonialism and you have metrics in place to not only recognize it, but to actually criminalize it
Yeah.
and say this should not be done, that this should not be something that is just accepted. There is also this intergenerational impact. We talk about generational trauma. And I feel like generational trauma, even within the slaveholder and the European conquest, it's embedded. I can trace, just even within this past century, I can trace my ancestry to German genociders within Hitler's army. Right? That is there. And so that is within my blood and my body. Does that mean I'm responsible for it? No, but it means I'm accountable to it. It means that I'm supposed to learn. It means that I'm supposed to make sure that, I'm on the right side of history and I'm making amends for what my ancestors did that was extremely wrong. These are scars that we all face. Like you mentioned, even just growing up in China and in the colony there. I mean,
Yeah.
did you have to learn Portuguese when you were growing
Well,
up?
actually, I went to English school. I learned English. Yeah. Yeah, it was English school. Honestly, what I remember, the Portuguese compared to the English did a lot to Hong Kong. I think they reinforced I think the Portuguese compared to the English, I don't think they did that much to us in terms of enforcing their culture, language, system, governments. I don't think as much as what they did to Hong Kong, I will have to say. Because remember, when I was young, we're still like a fishery village. We're not established in many ways. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But still, not
But
great.
still, generational.
Yeah.
Your parents experienced a different kind of Macau than you did. Probably
Yeah,
a more rigid
absolutely.
one, maybe a more oppressive one.
Yeah, and also very different than now. Like right now, Macau's also experienced some remnants of colonialism in the sense of they are very different, right? Because of the history of colonization, Macau's culture is slightly different than mainland because of the Portuguese impact. Same as Hong Kong, right? And even I feel like the yellow umbrella revolution happened in Hong Kong. Just example is also a direct impact of the colonialism history of Hong Kong. I think if Hong Kong never was colonized, there's no question of who should rule Hong Kong, who has the sovereignty of Hong Kong. If Hong Kong was never cut out and rented out to the British, then that question would never be discussed, need to be discussed centuries later.
Yeah. And that's just it. It's a global impact. And so it is this type of why this matters. And I'm not going to say when Africa succeeds this, because they are, I believe it. This is not just for Africa. This is shared global moral reckoning. This is for all of India. This is for all of the First Nations, Métis, Inuit people of Canada. This is for everyone globally. This would, on the map, it would make our humanity better. It would create that global solidarity and things that are happening in Palestine and even in Sudan, we wouldn't stand for it. Because we've accepted it. We've accepted the fact that this was wrong. We've made this an international law and we recognize that we never want this to happen again. This would be something that would be just globally healing for everyone. We wouldn't have refugees coming to Canada if we actually stopped colonizing the countries and eradicating the resources and overthrowing their governments.
Yeah. I think it also will help have this framework, legal framework from other countries, maybe even to follow the footsteps of the EU, right? To maybe also make colonization illegal and put in their own constitution. So I think it is important as is the pioneer in some sense. To have this conversation, this legal conversation.
Yeah.
And this legal conversation eventually will become a bigger conversation.
Yeah.
Maybe even education in schools. So people can learn about the impact of colonization even earlier. So I think it will create better generations.
Yes, yes. And that sense of self-autonomy and agency and creating a better future where people aren't dominating one another, but that we're all living collectively and cohesively. Acknowledgement doesn't just rewrite history, but it challenges current systems shaped by colonial legacies and invites reflection on how privilege and inequality today are connected to that history. Like it's just connected. It's that warm water that you talked about. So to end on a note of hope and what this moment in time I think could lead to, I think this could be, and Hoshin, I would love to hear yours, but I think this is a blueprint for justice. When it's successful, African leaders will inspire similar reckonings worldwide around colonialism, slavery, exploitation, and systemic injustice. I think as much kickback as it will get, I think it will start to build those bridges. People talk about being divisive. Like this isn't going to be a divisive thing. This is actually connecting us better together. Because when you take colonialism, that is what divides people. And that's what did divide people. Many wars were started between people because of colonialism, because of one particular people group being favored or getting privileges over the other. This is about restoring that trust and ability to work together as nations, as people, generationally. And I think that this is going to be an ongoing conversation. This isn't going to be a one-time fix. I think it's the beginning of something that's not just a legal framework, but it's a cultural framework and political framework, like the way that we govern, the way that we have diplomatic relationships. And this is about healing and justice, isn't about division. Yeah.
I agree. And I think this is also about decolonization, right?
Yeah.
I think having a legal framework there and then having more conversation about the impact of a colonization, I think also helps us to start the process or deepen the process of a decolonization. And you're talking about like divide, that I think this framework is not about division, which I agree. And decolonization itself is a great start to bringing people together. A lot of the division currently in society is created by colonization. Like even think about minorities, like, you know, like you talk about India, for example, like a homosexual relationship in India was before the British, you know, brought in the idea of Christianity was very normal. It's very normal. Like even now today, like men holding hands is a very normal thing.
Or two-spirited people. Yeah.
Exactly. Or like indigenous. Two-spirit people. Even in China, like homosexuality was never like demonized. But because of colonization, a lot of these cultures, some homosexuality becomes an illegal thing. Like kind of criminalized homosexuality was a colonial concept for many countries. So like if we are truly to criminalize colonization, we can, you know, and which helps us to decolonize our cultures in our legal frameworks in every countries. It will really truly help us to unite people, because colonization have not brought any unity to us.
No,
it's lightless.
It's always divided. Yeah,
exactly.
And you're you're exactly right. Like that impact just on even personal identity. You know, we talk about collective, but even just that own self-expression. So I think a call to action, I want to end the episode with a call to action from, this is again, where is he? Where are you, sir? Attaf. Ahmed Attaf, Algerian foreign minister. So I want to end with this as a call to action. Quote, "What unites us today is not merely a slogan to be raised, but a trust upon all our shoulders. A trust we have no choice but to fulfill, absolute and binding. Let us truly be worthy of this trust, worthy of the sacrifices of all our noble ancestors, and worthy of writing a new chapter that honors our history, uplifts our dignity, and illuminates our future." End quote.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I know. It's a little bit, I'm getting emotional.
I know.
A little bit. It's
uplift us. Yes.
Because when another person is healed, we all heal. When we see and know that people are hurting and are suffering and have borne the brunt of just unspeakable cruelty, but then when we see that And when we see that restoration and that healing and that care and that love, there's something inside us that heals us as well.
It's our empathy, which makes us human. Like that is the one element who makes us so different than trees or a lion in the wild. Like it's our ability to empathize with people and to feel other people's pain, to walk in other people's shoes, and just by not experiencing it, but just by seeing. Well, actually, we experience it just by seeing.
Yeah, we do.
I think that is, in many ways, is such unspeakable power.
It is.
Yeah.
Because it brings unspeakable joy. Like
Exactly.
just this, because we see, there are things, we'll see people when they're really, really, there's a warming in our heart when we see people really happy.
Yeah.
When we
to experience
see,
joy,
yeah. So anyway, please, listeners, new, thank you for joining us. Old, thank you for coming back. I would say just go to their website, canadiansalad.ca. All the articles are on there. There is an Al Jazeera interview. You can listen to 3 different perspectives about it because, there are questions about, well, how much money does the financial reparations look like? And, but I think the AU is not stupid. Like they know the voice of the oppressed know exactly what is needed to make this right. So if you want to know the roadmap, you listen to them, you listen to their voices. This isn't complicated. This isn't rocket science. If we can go to the moon, if we can invent, neurophysics, and we can we can, start cloning things, I think we can absolutely begin on healing and restoring humanity in a way that is authentic and works and is on terms for those who have borne the brunt of it. So
I agree. Absolutely.
Yes. Anyway. Yes. So thank you. And now we're going to end with a Canadian salad pop quiz.
Yay. I can't wait. I would learn
Yes.
something from it. I hope you learn something too.
Yes, I always learn something. I feel
I
like,
agree.
we're just little encyclopedias walking around.
And to our audience too, if you don't think you learned anything from our podcast, at least learn something from the pod quiz.
That's right. Or maybe check your headphones. Maybe they're not totally plugged in or charged. So that could be it too. So Hoshin, why don't you go first with your question?
Okay, my question is, also, of course, related to the topic about colonies.
Okay.
Do you know the first colony in Canada? Successful colony, at least.
Successful colony.
The first
Where it was or who?
Yeah. Or you can either give me the date, the year that it was set up, or the location, anything, or the person who were there to help set up the first successful colony in Canada.
Is it a British colony? I'd
Is
say
not.
it's not.
It's the French one, the first colony.
Really? French was the
one, yeah.
first. Oh my god.
Yeah, the French was the first.
Oh, okay. And where was that? Where?
You want me to give you the where so you can guess the year? Is that what
Oh,
it
am I
is?
guessing the year? Sorry, I thought I was just guessing.
Either the year
which-
or the. You can give me
Okay.
either the year or the location. Either one.
1847.
18. Wow. Okay.
I don't know.
Wow, you're really far off. It's 2 centuries far off.
16?
16.
Oh, really?
1604. Yeah.
1604. Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah, it's
that
the
is-
first. It's the first French settlement.
Where was it? In the east?
It's
on
in
the
Port
east coast?
Port Royal in Acadia, which is present-day Nova Scotia.
Oh, okay. No, NS. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Interesting.
I know, so long ago.
So long ago. Wow. That just goes to show how long people have been
Colonial
colonizing,
history. I know.
centuries,
Ooh.
people. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Exactly.
And we haven't even gotten into the whole argument about European or not, Eastern countries were always colonizing. Have you heard of that argument? Well, look at this dynasty and look at the Roman Empire. And it's, okay, there was that. But the broadest and the biggest was Western colonization anyway.
I
So we
know,
won't get into that debate.
The UK.
Yeah. So speaking of Western colonization, how many countries have not been formally colonized by Western
world?
empires in the world? How many countries?
I know China is not technically formally colonized.
Correct. That's one of them. How many
Yeah.
total?
I don't know, like 8?
Okay. Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Okay. You're kind of close. 15.
15. Oh, ooh,
So
double that
15
amount.
of 237 countries have not been formally colonized. So Japan,
Oh, right,
but
Japan.
like
I
Western,
forgot.
yeah.
Yeah.
Ethiopia, Nepal, Tonga, Iran, China, Mongolia, North Korea, South Korea, Thailand, Afghanistan, Bhutan, Liberia, Turkey, and Saudi Arabia. There were established, there were British protectorates.
Yeah, or like
But-
got small colonies there.
Yes, but
I know-
when you
not
look
small
at like
colonies, former, like the
colony-
whole country or its government was undertake.
exactly.
Yeah, by the
Yes.
Western power. Yes.
Yes.
Like
And that's
I know
that,
a lot. Yeah, I know a lot of these countries have like small, maybe like a city was like a special district that it was under the British rule. For example, I remember like in China, like Shanghai was like, under many countries' rules, even though the whole country
Yes.
was not. But they have like
Yes.
small colony within the country was built.
Yes, exactly.
But the whole
There was
country was not. Yeah,
like the
overthrown.
Opium Wars, I believe, was an
Yeah.
element of that.
Exactly.
And then some portions were annexed by Japan in World War II, but yeah, never that formal
Officially, the
colonized-
whole-
yeah.
yeah.
So there you go. There's 15.
Thank you for that information.
Yeah. I mean, Thailand, you've been to Thailand. My brother's been to Thailand, and I've heard it's an amazing country. And it just makes you
Amazing country,
wonder
yeah.
how much more amazing everything would be if we just
Yeah.
didn't colonize each other.
Like I still remember like when I went to Thailand, I really was shocked that people would eat with their hands.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in the sense that not like, oh, ew. In the sense that, oh my God, they still maintain that because not a lot of countries still maintain that kind of tradition, right?
Oh,
Because
Nepal
of like
does.
yeah. But again, Nepal was one of the countries
yes.
not formally colonized.
True, true. Yes.
know?
Oh. Ooh, that's interesting. Huh.
I feel like once you colonize by, some big power that you are
You're
you
using
use some
forks and
sort of
knives. Yeah.
forks and knives or chopsticks, like many countries
True.
also colonized by China, right?
True, true.
And I love that people have the agency to keep their culture, to keep their ways of living.
Yes.
I love that.
So, yeah. So let's get back to that. Let's just have everyone thrive and flourish. So, but thank you for joining us, everyone. Please do. Every Tuesday we drop a new episode. We'll have a more maybe I don't know, a holiday
More joyful.
Yeah.
Holiday-ish.
a holiday-ish
Topic.
episode coming down the road, the pipeline. But this just happened and I felt like it needed attention. Please do share it with your friends and family who do not know about this news, or to again, and do research the resources. This is a collective responsibility. We're all in this together. This isn't about collective shame. This is about collective responsibility to make our world better and brighter. You can follow us on our social media platforms, Blue Sky, Instagram, and TikTok. And please send us a message, leave a review, and just, look out for the next episode.
Please do. Yes.
We're almost on.
I will see you next week.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Canadian Salad is written and produced in British Columbia, Canada by Hostion Ho and Andrea McCoy. Theme music is by Naver Avityan from Pixabay.
This has been a good Janklin production.